Hello everyone, in my last presentation we learned about special education, special classroom and special school. Today we are going to see in detail about integrated education or integrated school. Let's see the introduction. Education is the process which transforms an individual into an human being. It instills in the child a sense of maturity and responsibility. Education culturizes the individual and helps him to fulfill his needs or her needs. Education develops the individual like a flower which distributes its fragrance all over the environment. Thus, education is a lifelong process to develop the personality of an individual in all fields and aspects, making him or her intelligent, learned, skillful, bold, courageous and possessing strong good character on the one hand, and other contributing to the growth and development of the society. The traditional education was of general nature, which could be acquired by a person without disabilities, but with the growth and development of welfare of society, political democracy and the concept of human rights, forced the liberal government to take up measures to educate persons with various types of disabilities too. Hence, the discipline of education, subdiscipline known as special education, integrated education, inclusive education came into existence and with the passing of time developed as independent academic disciplines. Integration is the process of including exceptional children into regular schools and classes, which is also termed as mainstreaming. Exceptional children attend regular classes with non-handicapped peers but with supportive help by special teachers in special resource room. Regular classroom teachers provides most of the instructions and the special teacher provides intermittent instruction to the students, and in consultation with regular teachers the student is integrated except for brief instructional sessions. Student with visual impairment or physical disorder and mild learning disabilities can be integrated with the regular students. Integrated education refers to the temporal, instructional and social integration of eligible exceptional children with normal peers. It determines educational needs, assessment requiring classification and responsibility for coordinated planning and programming by regular and special education, administrative, instructional and support personnel. Integrated approach was first started in America in 1930. This approach was introduced in India in 1960. But this approach was not successful in India until 1986 when the new education policy was introduced. Integration cannot be reduced simply to an educational issue or an employment issue. Its achievements will require the successful coordination of a whole series of transition for the handicapped, ranging from early identification to early intervention to school programs to community jobs and finally to community living. So this is all about the introduction of integrated school. Let's see the meaning of integration or integrated school. Providing special services within the regular schools, supporting regular teachers and administration, having students with disabilities follow the same scheduled as non-disabled student, involving disabled student in as many academic classes and extracurricular activities as possible, including music, art, field trips, assemblies and exercises, arranging for disabled student to use library, playground and other facilities at the same time as non-disabled students, encouraging, helping and building relationship between disabled and non-disabled students. Arranging for disabled students to receive their education in regular community environments when appropriate. Teaching all children to understand and accept human differences. Providing appropriate individualized program. So this is all about meaning of integration. Let us see the types of integration. There are 4 types of integration: physical integration, social integration, academic integration, and societal integration. In physical integration, that is planning for the location of the special programs in school buildings with regular education programs. Social integration is all about, it means planning for regular personal interactions between students who have handicaps and those who do not. Academic integration, that is planning to ensure students with and without handicap simultaneously using school resources. Societal integration, that is planning designed to enable students with moderate and severe handicaps to work, live and spend leisure with their fellow non-handicapped citizens. These are the 4 types of integration. Let's see the concept of integration. The concept of integrated education arises an outcome of National Policy of Education 1986, recommended to provide equal opportunity to all, not only for access but also for success. Integration signifies the process of interaction of disabled children with normal children in the same educational setting. Integration also means mainstreaming or normalization as disabled children are treated with normal children. So the concept of integrated education and the concept of inclusive education are closely related to each other because there are many things common between the two disciplines, but they cannot be termed as synonymous. Integrated education refers to the measure taken to provide educational resources within the regular educational system for those children who need them. The aim of integration is to avoid or reduce restriction on any aspects of child's development which might result from segregated education. In integration education, the role of resource and regular teachers are considered very important for the success of this program, largely depending on the combined and coordinated efforts of both. The regular teacher takes responsibility of general program of the child, while the resource teacher teaches the particular skills in coping with the blindness termed as the plus curriculum. Thus, integrated education aims at providing equal educational opportunities, allows to visually impaired and their families, neighbors and peers to interact socially in normal setting, and lastly provide a natural basis for adult life experiences, and they become contributing member in all sectors of the society. So this is all about the concept of integrated education. Let's see the objectives of integrated schools. Disabled children or learning difficulties children accepted in the ordinary school. Partial opportunities for participation. Subject-centered constructivist curriculum and methodologies. Cost not so high. Teacher effectiveness unchanged, limited to the other children. No formal planning is required. All the students away from education are not necessarily included in mainstream school. No special infrastructure, trained staff, special curriculum is required. So very basic objectives of integrated education are: integration aims at normalizing the life and education of visually disabled children in the least restrictive environment. The environment which is as comparable to the other children as possible. In the system, visually disabled children are educated with the sighted children in regular schools, provide educational opportunities and educational experiences for children equal to those provided for the sighted, allow children to stay with their parents, to interact with the neighbors and sighted peers socially in normal settings, change stereotype responses to visual impairment in general and blindness in particular, by demonstrating that visually disabled children are children first and disabled next. Develop the personalities of visually disabled children so as to provide a natural basis for adult life experiences in a manner that they can perceive themselves as contributing member to the socio-economic development of the society. So these are the objectives of integrated schools. Let's see the definition of integrated education. Integrated education is the educational program in which exceptional children attend classes with normal children on either a part or full time basis. It is placement of the disabled children in ordinary schools with some specialized educational help and services. It does not necessarily integrate all the students who are away from the education for any reason like physically, mentally, socially deprived or because of any caste, creed, gender, race, ability, disability, lifestyle, etc. So, in context of the disability, integration is the process of bringing the person with different disabilities into the society. The process begins by physical proximity, that is reduction of physical distance. It continues with mutual sharing of the physical facilities and progress towards the reduction of social distance. This reduction of the physical and social distance results in social integration in which the group become equal partners in the community. So this is all about the definition of integrated education. Let's see the need of integrated education. Integrated education for disabled children in India is more necessity than an option, considering the huge population of disabled children in India and a rural-based demographical pattern. Education of children with disabilities needs to happen only in local schools with the resources available locally. This would enable the use of the rural educational facilities to educate these children by educating the child in an integrated education program. He continues to be a member of the family and the society. Since the child is never segregated, the question of the re-entry into the family does not arise. The child being a part of family gets the feeling of being wanted. The bondage between the child and the family member remains very stable as they tend to discover that their child with disability has many abilities and can live a full participatory life. In the school, the teacher becomes the teacher of all children, including the disabled. Seeing the talents of these children, the teacher promotes positive attitudes in the society, which helps the child to get the recognition in the society. Since the child is trained within the local community environment, he understands the social pattern, expectations and social behavior. This enhances his vocational rehabilitation process as economic independence is one of the major goals of our educational system. Once he is integrated in the local schools system, he learns to adjust to the work situation. Hence, integration has a positive impact not only on a disabled child but also on the peers, teacher, family member and community at large. Integration emerged as a cost-effective approach and therefore the general education system started accepting social needs children in general schools. Implementation of integrated education program is aimed at addressing the needs of high-risk children. Integration of children with visual impairment rather reinforcing better educational practices in the general school system. So, this is all about the need of integrated education for disabilities. Let us see the importance of integrated education. It does not create a feeling of differentiation among disabled children. It helps to remove inferiority complex among disabled children. It provides peer group help in learning from normal children. It provides disabled children a chance to enjoy school life with normal children. It ensures social integration. It inculcates affection, love and respect for disabled children among normal schools or normal children. So this is all about the importance of integrated education. Let us see the scope and characteristic of integrated school. Let us see the scope of integrated education. Growth and development. Gesell believed that the best way to understand problems of development is to gain a precise idea of normal development, which comparison can be made in this context. Integrated education helps the handicapped children who are progressing slowly. Environmental factors. The child's growth is governed by natural in the process of the maturing nervous system. Through integrated education, stress is paid to environmental factor which may influence development. The handicapped children encounter the social and learning problems which create hindrance in shaping their personality, more generous in the community, so through the community. Cognitive development. The handicapped children to their disability miss out the necessary experiences for forming certain concepts in normal school. They develop the necessary experiences for forming certain concepts in normal school. They develop the necessary conceptual framework mixing with the 38 non-handicapped children by variety of play experiences, discussions, curricular, co-curricular activities, etc. Behavioral problem. Learning is viewed in terms of habitual responses. It is maintained that learned behavior is a function of consequences. The handicapped children, when mixed with the normal children, should not be restricted to age group or type of disabilities. In integrated education system, they avail wide scopes to develop their own habits, and when it gets gratification through reinforcement or rewards on behalf of the teachers and non-handicapped children, they make it more like to occur again in future. Many home and classroom behavior of the disabled with precise behavioral analysis, clear objectives and a careful work interpersonal relationship. When a child is described as a disabled one, he may perceive himself as having a problem. His peers or her peers may think of him or her as a troublemaker, or his teacher will interpret all they see and hear of him or her in these terms. Though integrated education system, the specialist may pick him out of 39 essays and study, and the child will be pressurized by a variety of unspoken expectations about the way he or she should behave. Guidance and counseling. The modern integrated education trend has made the disabled children to be away from the special or separate classes. It does not denote the special provision should be abandoned if they will be admitted to an ordinary school, but there must be special units or classes or any ordinary schools or special classes on the same side. The handicapped children must be prevail the normal education among the non-handicapped, and in some extra classes or specific arts they should earn knowledge to provoke their skills and learn some techniques how to adjust in the environment. Many counseling techniques and psychological techniques may be adopted to treat the problems of the child. Moreover, the child must be allowed to explore and express his or her feelings and develop positive awareness of self if personal growth and adjustment is to be possible. So this is all about the scope of the integrated school. Let us see the characteristic of the integrated education. Integrated education provides mainstream facilities for all disabled children. It is viable approach for achieving objective of providing equality educational opportunity to the disabled children. It provides broader scope to the disabled to live in a social world. It helps to develop the individual experiences. It emphasizes on the special needs of the disabled children. It provides education to blind, deaf, speech disability, handicapped, mentally, physically handicapped with some special provisions. The integrated education involves both the handicapped and non-handicapped children in the same system. It provides special education to the disabled children in normal schools or class for whom it is very essential. Integrated education is improved school atmosphere. It provides a natural environment for interaction with non-disabled peers to learn to cope with the environment and to be accepted by their peers. So this is all about the scope and characteristic of integrated education. Let us see the specification of integrated education. To minimize restrictions in the sense of comparison between the handicapped and non-handicapped children, normal and disabled children, different types of assistance. If the children having the disability of learning or writing, so a teacher must be assist them. Preschool education, guidance to the parents, regular parent-teacher meeting must be arranged for the regular parents-teacher meeting must be arranged for the guidance for the disabled children's parents, financial assistance for reading and writing materials, assistive devices, one resource teacher for 8 to 10 students, resource room. Availability of resource room is very necessary for the purpose of the teaching learning method for the disabled children. So this is all about the specification of integrated education. So let us see the integrated classroom. Integrated classroom might be considered a happy medium between segregated and inclusive classroom. That is, student with disabilities spend some time with typical student, but part of the day is still spent in a special education, that is segregated environment. Teaching that recognize the needs of learner who have disabilities in sound instructions for all children. That is the theory we all know. In reality, everyone best trained and most willing teacher have difficulty meeting the diverse need, heterogeneously grouped classes, let alone the special requirement of student with moderate to severe disability. For example, 25 children in second grade class, they can't expect teacher to take on more students with special needs. An integrated classroom is a setting where student and disabled children learn alongside peers without disabilities. Extra support may be implemented to help them adapt to the regular curriculum, and sometimes separate school education programs are in place within the classroom or through pull-out services. For example, integrating reading, writing and oral communication in language arts is a common example. Teachers often integrated history, geography, economics and government in an interdisciplinary social study programs. In integrated classroom, teacher refers the exceptional student being partially taught. In mainstream classroom, activities are adapted so that student can fit in with their mainstream peers, while learning skills they may be better practiced in a room with more age appropriate peers. So this is all about the integrated classroom. So let's see the merits of integration and demerits of integration. Very firstly, we will see the merits of integration. Children are not taught in special schools, hence they have an opportunity to live with their parents. Children have the chance to compete with normal children also. They can show their talent through performances. Also, children are provided opportunity to mix with other members of society and also make adjustment in society. The feeling of exceptionality can be removed. Let's see the demerits of integration. It is difficult to teach different types of impaired children in regular classes. Regular teachers can teach only by normal methods for normal children, but the exceptional child does not benefit from this. Teacher will look at the children with pity and just promote him. Teacher may show negligent attitude towards that child. There is a problem of labeling. The exceptional children may not get facilities at a proper time. So this is all about the merits of integration and demerits of integration. Let us see the role of teacher. The role of teacher in an integrated teaching and learning environment is to assist student with making connections and therefore finding meaning through an educational process. Making this process a reality means that education should be student-centered. Main aim of integration or integrated education is curriculum or education should be student-centered, or teacher must be assist the disabled children. Integration focuses on making connection for students, allowing them engage in relevant, meaningful activities that can be connected to real life, understanding the benefits and how to effectively integrate curriculum can help teachers and students become more successful in the classroom. So, integration or integrated education mainly focuses on understand the problems of the disabled children and help them to become more successful in their lives or become educated. So, what is the role of teacher? Role of class teacher is learn about the student's handicapping condition, its common characteristics, child's expected performance, common difficulties of the disabled child will experience, learn about the appliances and special material that child uses, example pushing a wheelchair up or downstairs, storing wheelchairs, etc. Determine if any special method techniques or adaptations are needed for the disabled child to function more independently and successfully. Meet the special education teacher to determine specific strength, weakness and needs of the handicapped student. Prepare the classroom, remove obstacles and make necessary adaptation to furniture, rearrange furniture to help the special needs student and so on. Conduct class activities in a ways to encourage student interaction. Collect the record data to evaluate student progress. Develop a feedback system that will furnish continuous data to students, teacher and parents. Use evaluation data to assess the attainment of goals and to set new goals just at the resource room. Special teacher, the regular teacher and the staff members have specific role to play for successful mainstreaming the special, regular and integrated education. So this is all about the role of teacher and role of class teacher in integrated education. Thank you one and all.